Hey, Atrina, how are you?
I'm well, Nick. How are you doing?
Good. How's your summer going so far?
Yeah, it's going well. It's getting busy. Some restrictions are getting lifted. Weather's nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
all in all, very good.
absolutely. We've noticed that the last few weeks have been quite busy for ourselves as well, with quite a number of buyers and sellers. COVID-19 has obviously impacted, everyone this year, but as the restrictions do get a little more lenient and we go into different phases, um, I think people are again a little more stir crazy, and they just want to get out and carry on with their lives, and that includes buying and selling properties. So,
Yeah,
I can't complain about being busy.
yeah, no, it's great. And just like you said, a lot of people are maybe that we're holding off for a bit because open houses were closed or showings were kind of put on a pause. They're going back out there because they are able to view properties. So for them too, it's good to see those properties as well.
Absolutely. WorkSafe BC and the Real Estate Council just last week basically came out and said that realtors and sellers now are allowed to resume open houses. And of course, proper safety precautions are necessary. You expect to wear a mask, gloves. You're going to get qualified at the door, making sure that you haven't left the country for at least a couple of weeks, making sure you're not sick. So there's going to be a lot more into going to the kind of going back to the old open house pre-COVID,
Yeah.
but at least again we're slowly getting back into that normalcy.
Yeah, great. We were actually on a conference call with one of the bigger appraisal companies in the Lower Mainland and in Okanagan, and they said that they're getting quite busy as well. So they also anticipated a later spring market for us because, yeah, they're really busy with appraisals and getting requests from lenders, from brokers. So I feel like our market is definitely shifting. Coming from you. In the real estate aspect, coming from me from the mortgage and from the appraisals, we have three different people that are kind of confirming the same thing, that's getting busier.
Mhm. I've been saying for a while now that the spring market, which is typically, say, late February to June, is honestly going to carry right through into the fall.
Yeah.
I fully expect July and August to be quite steady. Hopefully, we don't get hit with a second wave of COVID-19, because then it could just continue even further into September and October.
Mhm.
But the real estate stats just came out that the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver mentioned, sales were up in June 64.5% compared to the month of May.
Wow.
And we've been seeing that trend now over the last 2 or 3 months, where they keep going up and up. Um, it's great to see. And we're definitely at pre-COVID levels, where, back in January and February, we were busy. And then obviously everything came to a halt, but we're getting busy again. So it's good to see people are getting slowly back to normal in a safe way. Um, but it's definitely positive.
Great. Yeah.
How Oh, sorry. How are the market rates right now?
Rates are, I mean, even lower than the last time we spoke. It's a race down to, zero for most lenders. We have some lenders that are offering lower rates, some that are offering normal rates. But I mean, for every client, it's more than just rates. Maybe their situation or the property they're looking for, we can only go to a specific lender. So we'll always work with them and get the best rates, and they are lower right now. So I'd say I even have a couple people that are refinancing, paying a penalty. We've done the math for them, we've done the calculations, and even with a penalty they're saving, so they're happy to do that. Or some people that their mortgage, they have a chance to port their mortgage, which means they've sold their house, they want to move their mortgage to the next place to avoid the penalty. They're choosing not to do that because even paying the penalty, the new rate and the new savings are higher than paying the penalty. So the rates are definitely lower, but I would say it's not a one all for all, like, yes, the rates are lower, break your mortgage. You have to look at your numbers, you have to look at the penalty and see if it makes sense for you before you decide to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that totally makes sense. How are you finding the condo market right
The condo market is, I mean, if it's priced right, I find it selling quickly. I have some clients that were either downsizing or combining their purchasing power and selling their individual condos. And they actually made an offer and then decided to sell their home. So it's a little bit of a risky move, but they're selling quickly because I think they were priced right. Um, yeah, I'm not seeing. I know that there are a lot of concerns about the strata fees and everything. We had one client that was able to negotiate a slightly better deal because their strata fees were going up. But in general, I think if they are priced right, they're still moving. What I found the most competitive market was kind of in the 1.1, 1.2, or maybe just even $1 million detached house market with a helper suite. I found those ones were very competitive and they still are competitive because it allows people to have that purchasing power and to have that rental income. So those are still, I would say, the most competitive for my clients that have been trying to get into them.
now? Sure. At the end of the day, what we've noticed as well that all types of products, whether it's a condo, a townhouse, detached home, um, as long as you're priced well and it's a good property, you're gonna get probably an offer within that first week to 2 weeks, and ultimately generate a lot of attention on it. Um,
Exactly.
have you encountered any issues with buyers in terms of buying a strata property?
No, not really issues, but when the notice of AGM has come up, they were, like I mentioned, they were able to get a slightly better deal because their strata fees were going up. I haven't had any issues where the strata fees were going up to the point that the buyer didn't want to proceed anymore. They were going up, but it was still maybe they were low to begin with compared to other provinces. But definitely, I'm telling my clients that are getting into the condos to make sure that they have the right insurance coverage for the deductibles because personally my deductible went up quite a bit. And if you don't have that proper insurance coverage, then you could be in trouble as well. But no, not so much of issues of them. Just them budgeting for more. And even at the pre-approval stage, we do budget for higher condo fees right now because that's kind of the norm going forward.
That's great. And the reason I bring that up because honestly, if it wasn't for COVID-19 this year, I think the Strata insurance issue or crisis, as some people have called it, would probably be the biggest, if not one of the biggest stories here in BC.
Yeah.
And we've heard on the news, a lot of homeowners out in Langley and whatnot, and certain buildings where their deductibles and premiums have gone up 300%.
Yeah.
Now, ultimately, where's that money going to come from? Well, it's going to get shifted back to the homeowners in terms of special levies, increased strata fees, and a lot of homeowners, especially if they're on a fixed income, what do you do when your strata fees double? And that obviously has been a big issue, and I still think it's an issue going forward. But we've seen some buildings, only go up slightly, and the homeowners aren't affected at all. And then of course you get that outliers where you get the 200 to 300% increases.
For sure. Yeah, anyone, I mean, anyone on a pension or even not on a pension, but on a regular salary, I feel like a big increase in their strata fees would really hurt their spending and their monthly budget.
Yeah. Um, I think it's important for people, buyers and sellers, to both be educated in terms of insurance. Yes, you do need your own personal insurance for your unit, but knowing what your building's insurance is as well going forward is crucial. And one of the reasons that the insurance rates are going up are because of claims, mainly due to water and fire damage. I think water damage uh, accumulates up to around 78% of all claims. That's huge. And a lot of those claims, even though accidental, are careless. And I think people just need to be very careful. And as a buyer going into a building, you want to look at obviously all the strata documents, all the minutes, and the financials, but you want to look at that insurance policy as well and take it to your own insurer and know exactly what you're dealing with. You want to know when it expires. I think that's very important because a lot of these insurers, if they're smaller, because of these increases, they've backed out. Or some of these bigger ones like Hub and um, there's really only 2 or 3 in Canada. They basically waited until 1 or 2 days before the insurance expires and then hitting the strata building saying, here you go, take it or leave it. What do? It doesn't give you any time to shop around to try to get a better deal. And of course, building, you need insurance. So I think that's been the biggest issue as well.
Yeah,
So
that's a really good point, Nick, because I know most people that get, um, you get your home insurance renewal. Most people just sign, pay, and then renew. And I think this year, more than ever, it's really important for you to just look at your deductible and look at your strata deductible. Personally, my own strata deductible went from 25,000 to 100,000. That's huge. That means
absolutely.
um, so just like you said, like my own provider, I had to really look at the details and make sure I was covered. And the provider I was with before, they were unable to provide insurance because they didn't do deductibles at 100. So if people aren't really looking at that, they could really put themselves in a lot of trouble because what happens if there's a claim? My strata would expect me to pay $100,000 out of pocket. So I would say this year more than ever, please don't just renew and look at that. Get the insurance policy from your strata manager or log into your strata online account and find out what your deductible is and make sure you have the proper coverage for it.
Absolutely. Because the last thing you want to do is be in a situation where, as say a first time owner or whatnot, you're excited, you buy into a building, and then all of a sudden, because of the insurance, you're getting hit with $5,000 special levy, and your strata fees are going up as well.
Yeah.
It's something a lot of people don't plan for.
Yeah.
So it's really important. Over the last few weeks, I know the government has stepped up. They've obviously been a little bit busy with COVID-19 and everything that has impacted, but they have made some moves and announced some regulations to stop the insurers from basically giving only 1 or 2 days notice for homeowners or for a strata to accept their policy, I should say their take it or leave it policy. And so it's definitely good to see. I'll just read off a couple of notes that I printed off here. And basically, what the government is doing is to develop clear guidelines for what strata corporations are required to insure so that the strata councils can ultimately make an informed decision based on their insurance policies. And I think that's important. Like I say, you want to be educated. I think every AGM, you're likely going to spend 15 or 20 minutes just talking about the insurance going forward. This isn't going to be just a one-time hit. This is going to continue for years to come. And a really good strata or a good building are going to increase your strata fees a little bit, anywhere from say 3 to 5% per year. A good strata will do that because, as we all know, costs go up. So you need to plan for that. No one wants to get hit with a special levy or, say, by this time next month, your strata fees are going to double. No one wants to see that. So if you do it or just plan for it, that's, I think, the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, do you have any other questions regarding the strata insurance or?
No questions, just a final comment. It's so important, and people always, I know our clients always sometimes confuse possession date and completion date. And make sure your insurance coverage starts from your completion date, not your possession date, because that's when you become the new owners.
Absolutely, very important. So thank you so much, Atrina. It was a pleasure talking to you as usual.
Likewise. Thanks for taking the time, Nick.
All right. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.
You too.